I'm Jeremy Kellett, Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking, and I'm your host for this podcast. This is the Oakley Podcast, Trucking, Business, and Family. And once again, I appreciate everybody listening to this podcast. You know, we have just topped 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. Who would have ever thought 20,000 people would want to listen to this or watch it? I mean, you know, but thank goodness you do. I mean, we spread the word. We'd love to, you know, there's like 3.5 million truck drivers in the country. I'd kind of like to have 3.5 million subscribers, you know, is our goal. So spread the word about Oakley Trucking, the Oakley Podcast, and get it out there the best you can and help us. And if you think of anything you want to hear, something interesting, you know, because sometimes I struggle to come up with some content, which I'm sure y'all know because you watch it and go, well, that was not very good, Jeremy. But, you know, we do our best to try to come up with some good stuff for you. But I love your input on different things. And you know, I get a couple every week, and I'm trying to follow up with some of that stuff to make it good, so I can give you some good episodes every week. So, but the ones I like, I tell you, are our owner-operators. They just seem to resonate with the listener base that we have out there, and I find it interesting, and I just love to get to know our owner-operators even better than what I do, and that's what I got for you this week. I have got Dean and Cindy Fournier sitting down with me. They're owner-operators, him and his wife. She doesn't drive, but you know, we're going to talk to her a little bit if I can get her to talk. And Dean, you know, has been with us a while and in our pneumatic division, and we're going to visit with them a little bit about their life, their trucking life, and their marriage, and how trucking has been a big part of their life. And it's always good to hear stuff like that coming from our owner-operator. So let's get started with it.
Aero Truck Sales has been in business for over 60 years and a longtime partner of Oakley Trucking and the Oakley Podcast. Trey Visor and Keith Wilson do a great job at putting you in the right truck to fit your needs and our needs here at Oakley. They carry all makes and models to choose from with on-site financing through transport funding. So whether you're a seasoned owner-operator or a first-time buyer, be sure to contact Keith Wilson at Aero Truck Sales at 573-216-6047 and tell him you heard it on the Oakley Podcast.
Dean, Cindy, how y'all doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having us.
I appreciate y'all coming and doing this with me. I mean, it's, you know, I know it's a little nerve-wracking at first, but, hey, it'll be all right. We'll get through it, and it's good. First of all, y'all are from?
Atmore, Alabama.
Atmore, Alabama. Mm-hmm. How long you lived there?
Oh, boy.
There were you born and raised?
No, I was actually born in Connecticut, and Cindy's from actually born in Tennessee.
Raised in Orlando.
Raised in Orlando. But I've been in Atmore since I was, I think, 5 years old.
Okay.
So quite a while. I mean, I'm not going to give away my age, but I'm pretty old. Mm-hmm. So I've been there just about all my life. So.
And so how long you been driving a truck, Dean?
I started in the late 90s. I think 97. It was 97.
97.
Yeah, 97.
Okay.
And I had worked construction prior to that. I was a pipe fitter and traveled all around the U.S., you know, doing shutdown work and stuff. And I was making great money. And all of a sudden we find out that we're having our firstborn. And so I said, you know what, I want to do something different. And really didn't even discuss this with her. So I was like, I come home from a shutdown, you know, and she's like, well, where are you going to next? I said, well, I don't think I'm going anywhere. She's like, what? You know, we got a baby due in a few months. I said, I think I'm going to go get my CDL, drive a truck. She's like, what? Yeah, so it turned out to be like the best decision I ever made because it led to so many other opportunities for me.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So yeah, so I decided to, you know, get my CDL, and then that led to other opportunities. You know, I drove for several years, and then I had the opportunity to actually go into management. So I started in safety, and then worked my way up through that to actually safety director.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I did that for several years, and.
So imagine my surprise when he comes home and says he's going to go back and drive a truck.
Yeah, because I was on the corporate
day.
side of it for a long time.
So how long did you drive a truck?
I was 6 years straight driving, and then went in the office, and I was still driving here and there, you know, doing things, you know.
Was that 6 years over the road?
Yes, 6 years over the road, and then.
And y'all had your child at this time?
Yep.
32 at this time.
Yep.
So y'all were married prior to truck driving.
Yes.
Yep.
But
Okay.
he was gone for a long time. When I was pregnant with our first one, I saw him 3 times in 9 months.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
and that was working construction. So that's why I said, I want to do something different, to be home more. And crazy thing is the trucking actually did put me home more. But it's a lot of people would say, "Oh, you went from construction to trucking to be home," but that doesn't sound right. But it worked for me.
It worked out.
Yeah. So,
And then you got moved into the inside the office.
Yep. Yep.
Which she probably thought was great.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was home every day. I mean, and actually, I worked. I was 2 or 3 miles from the house. And Atmore, Alabama has about 4 red lights. So,
Yeah.
Small.
Yeah, there's no traffic jam unless there's a train coming through.
So let me back up. How did y'all get to Atmore?
So, my grandmother and
Well, how did y'all even back up even further, because you were born in Connecticut. She was in Tennessee.
yeah,
I went to college in Pensacola, which is right near Atmore.
Okay.
And we met when I was in college.
she was working at a video store in town, a little game room video store or whatever. I used to go in there with my buddies and aggravate her.
Okay.
And she hated me.
I hated him.
She hated me, and I would bug the crap out of her, and somehow or another I ended up winning her over, and 32 years later, here we are.
Isn't that something?
Yep.
That's a great story. So you been together 32 years, and you're now in the safety department of a trucking company.
Right. Yep.
And you come home and go, hey, I'm getting back in a truck.
Well, I
Wait a minute. Before, though, when he came to tell me, he had it all laid out. It wasn't just this, hey, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
He had his plan all out for me where I could see it, so I didn't.
I was
fall
growing
out.
unhappy with my situation.
Right.
And I didn't see where it was going to get any better. And so I decided that I wanted to get back in the truck. But I didn't just want to be a company driver, so I wanted to buy one. And then when I laid that all out there, she's like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, I think I want to buy a truck and lease to Oakley." And I told her all about Oakley. And at that time, I right after the conversation with her and I had, I think I spoke with JP.
Oh, yeah.
And he, he's the one.
What year is this?
This is 2019.
Okay.
And so he, was real good with, all the info. And, at that time I didn't even have a truck. I was looking for a truck. So I found one, and then I called him back a week or 2 later. And, we got everything set up. And then next thing you know, I was in orientation, So, it was pretty quick. Thankfully, at that time, we didn't have the waiting period,
Right.
It was pretty quick, so.
You hadn't even turned in your notice.
No, I went and bought I hadn't even turned in my notice on the other job yet. I went and,
He took his vacation.
took vacation, went and did everything, and, came back, and because I didn't want to miss a beat,
Lube Zone has opened a new location in Statesville, North Carolina. It's located north of Statesville on Highway 77, just west of Exit 59. Lube Zone services both single trucks and truck fleets, so whether you're driving through or you have a trucking company nearby, Lube Zone are the experts to turn to. Lube Zone's specialty is full-service oil changes that take approximately 30 to 40 minutes. They also offer tractor-trailer grease, gearbox service, generator service, reefer service, and DOT inspections. They also go the extra mile when it comes to quality control. What does that mean? That means your semi-truck is checked not just once, but twice to ensure all service and parts are good to go. Lube Zone does this so you can rest easy knowing that your truck is in top condition. No other service center knows semi-trucks better than Lube Zone. Check out lubezone.com for all their locations, and when you go in there, tell them you heard it on the Oakley Podcast.
So I want to back up on that. Here's my plan. Because, to go from a comfortable job, where the wife's happy and everything's got a weekly paycheck, to, hey, I'm going to buy my own truck and make this next step. Whatever possessed you to even want to do that? I'm sure she's asked that question before.
Oh, I know. I already know the answer. I know how miserable he was.
Yeah, I really was. It was just a really bad situation where I was, and
Toxic.
Oh,
yeah,
was
it was
Yes.
just a toxic environment, and I just wanted out of it, and
But going back to a company driver was not an option.
No, because not that company drivers can't make a good living, because plenty do. I kind of wanted to control my destiny, so to speak, and be an owner operator, and but I didn't want to obviously didn't want to fully do it with my own authority, with the
Yeah.
all of the responsibilities that come with that too, right?
So did you know anybody at Oakley?
Did not.
He
No.
researched all about you.
Yeah.
Just researched us.
Now I knew about Oakley, obviously from being in the trucking industry anyway, but the company that I was working for actually had, did business with Oakley. So
Oh, yeah?
yeah. So I knew a lot about it, but
So how long did it take you to get on board, Cindy? I mean,
Wasn't long.
pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think after,
I don't say no. I usually don't, because when he comes to me with something, I know he's at his breaking point.
Yeah.
And he's had enough, and I knew how unhappy he was.
Yeah.
So it was
Support.
support. I mean, he just
A
had
lot
it
of
all laid
support.
out.
I
and
couldn't have done it without the support.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I think
really
that's
key.
I think that you're exactly right. That's something that's overlooked in the trucking world, and especially becoming an owner operator, because you have so many naysayers out there that you're crazy for buying a truck.
It's
Why
the
would you
wrong
buy a truck?
time, blah,
It's-
blah, blah.
Yeah,
He got all of that.
Oh yeah.
You did.
Oh
He did.
yeah.
He got
Yeah.
it from everybody. Why are you doing this?
That's
And-
crazy. You'll go broke in a year. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But his whole personality and demeanor changed when he got out of that toxic
Yep.
situation.
Yeah,
Just-
and being here in the environment that's here at Oakley is, it's really nurturing. You guys are fantastic for a first time owner operator anyway, right? But it's just been really good. I mean,
everybody's been very nice.
yeah, everybody's been
And
great.
so you
helpful.
did you start out on pneumatic?
No, I was on end dump.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just made the switch to pneumatic about 7 months ago.
Okay. How you liking that?
I like it.
Do you?
I really do. And I tell you, man, it was. You probably hear this quite a bit, but way different. The end dump mentality. I had to get rid of that. Because you're just geared to go, and you gotta, meet these certain deadlines and timelines for customers, and it's a little more laid back with pneumatic. So it's just.
A little more specific, based on product.
Yeah,
and
it is, and
routine.
We deal with a lot of 24-hour customers on this side,
yeah.
so you're not really up against your clock, so to speak. The guys out there will
Right.
understand, how that is. But,
Right.
but man, I like it. I got Sawyer as a dispatcher. He's really good. Communicates very well. Yeah.
So all these years you put in trucking inside the office and outside, what's some of the major changes you've seen that has been a challenge?
Technology is
Yeah.
as much as it helps, it hurts.
Yeah.
And I know you guys know that and hear that too. But when I first started driving, we were on the old hours of service. We were on paper logs back then, and rarely did you see or have a GPS back then. And if
Yeah.
you did, it wasn't a trucking GPS, right? So there's a lot of things and I love technology. I mean, I embrace it, but I also feel that it's hurt too.
Yeah.
But,
One of the biggest changes. I mean,
It really is.
and challenges at the same.
yeah, and challenges, and there's there's so much more traffic out there.
Not paying attention.
Exactly.
Because of technology.
Because of technology. Good
Exactly.
point, Cindy.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a car that passes by that's not
Yeah.
on their phone. So
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
frustrating.
challenges there. Parking, truck stops have changed. Just there's so many changes. Regulatory overreach, it gets worse and worse every year.
Oakley Trucking is a 100% owner-operator company. We specialize in hopper bottom, end dump, and pneumatic trailers. We provide the trailer free of charge, and you provide the truck. We have a large customer base that reaches the whole United States as well as parts of Canada. Our owner-operators live anywhere from Texas to North Carolina to Pennsylvania to Wisconsin and everywhere in between, and we get them home weekends. We take it seriously when you join Oakley Trucking because we need you to be successful. Oakley offers great benefits and competitive mileage pay, so you know that when your wheels are turning, you're generating money no matter if you're loaded or empty. We understand that you want to make a good living and that you make our living. We only take on independent contractors, and to be honest with you, we are very particular on who we lease on. You must have a good driving record, good work history, and clean, dependable truck. So if you're interested in Oakley Trucking or just want some more information, you can go to oakleytrucking.com, listen to our weekly podcast, The Oakley Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. How, Cindy, you've been married to a truck driver for a long time.
I have.
There's you know, it's well known that I think the stigma is anyway that truck drivers and marriages don't jive very often. I don't know any statistics, but I would say the divorce rate amongst truck drivers
It's probably pretty high.
It's probably pretty high,
Yeah, I would
just
think.
because of the gone factor for the most part. Sounds like though you've done you've had a job where you've kind of been home for the most part. But how's it been, Cindy? Being married to a truck driver for this long? And what have you had to do? What would you tell somebody that's just about to marry a truck driver?
I mean, I just have to support him mostly in what he's doing because I know what he's doing out there. But I have to have more responsibility at home, which I knew that going in. Luckily, our girls are grown. I mean, so I don't have any, juggling kids at home,
Right.
but he still hears it because they're still at home. But
That was a struggle when they were young.
I mean, it was hard trying to,
Yeah.
juggle with them. But there was no cell phone then, like we talked about earlier. I mean, I'd have to call his dispatcher and say, "Hey, call me." But now I call him for everything, and usually it's, "What are you doing now?" Because I'm trying to fix something. I try to fix it myself before I ever call him.
She's taking care of all the stuff on the home front, when I'm not home, or
Right.
I guess within her abilities, I should say. But
because of what he's doing, I was able to retire.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
I was a teacher for 27 years,
Really?
and COVID in first grade,
You taught first grade
I did.
for 27 years. Fantastic.
yeah. So when it came time, and she's like, I'm just so unhappy with the way the school systems are and teaching and whatever. I said, well, just retire.
Yeah.
Well, I can't. Yes, you can. I promise you can. So,
Well, I
being
couldn't have
here
without him being here at Oakley.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really financially rewarding in that respect too.
That's
to
good.
allow her to be able to retire.
That feels good, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
To be able to do that
Yeah.
and know you're going to be okay. Because we've probably all seen those days when we can't quit our job.
No.
And raising 3 kids and
Well, I have friends that they can't quit.
yeah.
They just can't do it.
Yeah.
But we've been fortunate. So.
Good place to be financially, which was one of my questions I was going to
Yeah.
ask you, man.
Yeah.
Good place to be financially
Yeah.
when you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yep.
What's some of the misconceptions you think the general public has about truck drivers that you would like to clarify?
Oh, I know one. They
What?
think they're lazy. They think they're lazy and don't work, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I see it
Do
all
you
the
get
time.
some of those comments
Oh, yes.
from people
And I don't ever like to talk
without
money.
calling them out?
I don't ever like to talk money. Somebody a coworker was saying something about him going to be a truck driver after leaving, being a safety director, and was telling me just how much her husband made, and I pretty much shamed her. I told him, I said, "I'm sorry." I said, I don't ever like to talk about your salary. I said, but I just had it up to here with, her talking about he was beneath her.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of the general
That's-
public, views trucking as a kind of, dirty, nasty job, and it is, but
That doesn't mean you are.
Right. I think truck drivers are some of the most giving, caring, understanding people out
Smart.
there. Smart, for sure. I mean, you every day where you got to make good decisions and put yourself in the right situations. And I mean, I know that there are a certain percentage of them out there that don't do that.
That's
but,
right.
But overall, I think truckers as a whole are just, smart people.
Yeah.
Ever adapting to, changes every minute, so.
Well, it's I've never driven a truck, but it's intriguing to me, but I just don't know if I could. I mean, it is something that you have to be good at what you do to drive a truck. I always think about this when I just drive back and forth to work, 40 miles, and I think about how do these guys see all this stuff around them, and how do they? I mean, the truck is as big as the lane. You know, how do you just stay in that lane? And I mean, it's just really makes me appreciate people like you, because you can do it and do it safely and do it right. And
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a challenge.
Or back it up. My thing is, how do you back that thing up with a trailer
Right.
in that little spot?
yeah, how does that happen?
I don't know. After a while, it becomes second nature, you know. But yeah, it took some getting used to at first, you know, to maneuver that piece of machinery.
What kind of truck you got now?
Got a 22 389 flat top now. Just got this truck 3 months?
3 months
About
ago.
3 months ago. Yep.
Nice.
So, and that's it was a whole nother learning curve with that thing, you know. I got to have a Freightliner Cascadia into that 389. It's been a long time since I've been in a hood.
So trying to.
Yeah, so staying in your lane and all that you were just
Yeah.
talking about, I had to learn that all over again.
Did you?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's a lot bigger than his other one. Takes up a
Yeah.
lot of my driveway.
Yeah.
It does.
It is a big truck, isn't it? It's something else. That you got to be good at it, or you're not gonna survive in this world,
Yeah, true.
in the trucking world.
You know, and again, you know, being here and you know, being here at Oakley has allowed me to be able to have that, you know, and not worry about, you know, a payment, you know, so to speak. So
What would you tell somebody, somebody, maybe a company driver out there that's looking to become an owner-operator? What kind of advice would you give them that they're thinking about buying a truck and becoming an owner-operator? Other than coming here.
yeah,
Talks to a lot of them.
yeah, I do talk to a lot of them, but
Because you can't just know how to drive a truck and become an owner-operator.
no, you know, you need to know a little bit about, obviously, about the financial burden that comes with that, you know, and save. Man, you need to save, have a little nest egg, you know.
Not to get specific, but specific, how much?
How
How much do you need to have set aside for the truck in case something happens?
Ideally, 20 grand.
Okay.
Ideally, you know, and that's going to cover a lot of major things, but not necessarily a rebuild like I had to do last year. I had to. That was a big bill, but we were prepared for that. You know, it's terrible to have to write that big check like that, but we had it.
Yeah.
And I was thankful. But you know, be smart with your money, save where you can. You know, the key to me is having obviously keeping that truck on the road, keeping the wheels rolling, right? So you got to do proper maintenance. You know, fix things when it needs to be fixed. Don't wait until it comes, because it's going to come back on you. I guarantee if you let it go, it's going to come back on you. You know, again, be smart, save. Prepare for the worst, you know, and just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
You know, and
Good advice. You know, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, that need that kind of advice to know whether they can become an owner-operator or not, because, you know, we try to do that ourselves when we talk to them before coming over here. Are you ready to do this? This is something that,
Yeah.
you know, it's a big step for a lot of people. You know?
And I'll tell you, I mean, when I did it, I didn't have that $20,000
Right.
nest egg, and
Right.
but I learned pretty good. Thankfully, I ended up, you know, my first truck was a used truck, but it was good. It was good to me, so I didn't have to deal with really any major breakdowns or any major repairs for probably a year. So I was able to, you know,
But we
continue.
had started as soon as you got started
Yeah.
putting money aside.
Yeah, for sure.
Just just in case.
Yeah. So, but I was fortunate in that respect that I had a good truck that kept me going. So,
What's the future plans for the Fourniers? Got a
vacations.
daughter getting married.
Yeah.
I do,
Yep.
next year. So that's high on the list. We're going to the cake
Well-
shop next week.
Okay, getting that
testing.
started.
Well,
travel.
she's constantly booking us vacations. So
Oh, dear.
basically, I'm working just a vacation. I don't have any hobbies anymore.
Right.
You know, I go home and I want to spend time with her and the kids and the dogs. Lord, the grand dogs. We don't have grandkids. We have grand dogs.
Granddogs.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, vacations, and then of course planning this wedding. For the
Where's
little one.
the vacations take place at? Y'all just try something new every year?
We just picked something new. So
Yeah.
we just came back from Antigua.
Nice.
And like I said, we went to Europe last year.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll go to St. Lucia. Taking a cruise with our kids.
So pretty much the beach.
Oh, we love the beach.
Well, yeah. I mean, she's more of a tropical person. I wouldn't mind going up to Montana or Wyoming or.
She says no.
Yeah.
No, it's too cold.
Yeah, she's
We don't
cold.
have to go when it's cold.
That's what I said.
It's still cold.
It's not. It can be hot up there. I'm telling
I
you.
know it.
Yeah. I went to Wyoming, Jackson Hole. One time. Actually, it was in October a couple years ago, and it wasn't cold at all. It was pretty.
Is that
nice.
where Megan went? Well, our oldest daughter went. I think she went to Jackson Hole a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And she went in the winter. I think she was
She
there
went
New
skiing.
Year's.
She went for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Went skiing.
But
Now, are the kids all around Atmore,
Yeah.
Alabama?
They are.
So they're within
They're close.
striking distance.
yeah, they're still on the payroll.
Oh.
They are.
Yeah. still
Until
on
they
the
start
payroll.
getting married off.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. The
man.
youngest, well, yeah, again, she's getting married next October, so hopefully she'll be off the payroll.
Oh, that's
so
good.
I'll get a raise.
Yeah, you will.
Kids are raised.
Well, I appreciate y'all sitting down and
thanks,
visiting
man.
with me. It's just good stuff. I think. Like I said before, our listeners to be able to hear the truth about becoming an owner-operator, an owner-operator spouse, and just having that marriage work. I think that's really important to have that support at home to when you come up with these crazy ideas and, and you make them work, though.
I try,
and it's
yeah.
really good. So
But yeah, she's been really supportive. The kids too. I mean, they've been very supportive.
it means a
so.
lot.
Yep. For sure.
Thank y'all for
Thanks for
coming
having
on.
us.
You
Thank
bet,
you.
man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks everybody for listening to the Oakley Podcast. Once again, man, we appreciate y'all listening every week and all the input you give us. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks again.